So you're gonna edit it all together? These interviews? You got 1,000 of them?
Yeah, the final product is going to be interesting. I don't know what it's going to turn into. I know there's lots of different possibilities, you know? But for me, like right now, it's really important to just kind of see what kind of diversity I can get and
Cool.
talk to as many different people as possible related to sustainability. And
Yeah, I
yeah.
can totally. Do you have your website up and stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, because then I'll put a link on mine to yours and stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I'd love to do that for you too. So, and just let me know. Just send me a logo, and I'll put you in our partner section.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All right. Excellent. So, I really like we've been talking about so far about the different aspects of art and how the process of making art is a certain thing. What's left over in art is a certain thing. Where we source certain materials that we use, whether it's a type of material that you use for sculpting or it's something along those lines, we've talked a little bit about that. What I'm fascinated about is how the art scene is really embracing sustainability.
It's kind of slow, it seems, but sustainability is something that is all pervasive right now. It's in every aspect of our lives, so it's seeping into the art world as well. So, there's just fundamental little things that, like how you get to your art show, can make an impact on sustainability. Like, so as simple as logistics go, that actually would go a long way to making, less there'd be less consumption of resources and get hopefully the same kind of quality results. We don't want the art to diminish in any way in its quality and its spectrum, but we just want you to think about how you're handling it or how you're getting there.
Sure. It seems like with me, like certain things that you talked about as far as materials, it might be in the future a requirement for artists to take care of their waste, because it seems like every industry is starting to deal with that. Right now it's not a requirement that they do that.
Good point. Yeah.
So a regulation could actually change how the artists are behaving.
Because I know when originally when you're a student stuff, you're so concentrating on your work and finding who you are in your work, and you're going to go through all kinds of materials. So there's going to be an enormous amount of waste just from experimentation. Mm-hmm. But to ask a student to be totally conscious of that, I think, is maybe a little much. Perhaps it should be something that's already in the department, to figure that out at the school or wherever you're getting this education.
Right.
Should take maybe a little more, be aware of the processes that they're offering. Because as an art student, you're going to build out of anything they give you. It doesn't even matter.
Sure.
And you'll be making a painting, and in your haste, you'll just forget and flush stuff down the drain that you shouldn't be. But in that moment, you're like, I'm making,
Right.
You're passionate, so you're not, damn the rest of the world, you're going to make this thing, right?
Right.
So that's the kind of where we have to train ourselves to be conscious and just heightening that awareness. Now, we have a lot of cooperation from arts collectives groups here in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is Amar Collective that I work with quite a bit. And everyone in that collective had a concern or was aware. So I think we already are dealing with a public that has a heightened environmental awareness.
Yeah,
They're
I feel
just
like
not sure how that works in the art world, because we haven't invented it yet.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same in every industry right now. Everyone's creating it from scratch, because up until now, a lot of things were really about how do I create the thing for the least amount of cost and sell it for the highest price.
Mm-hmm.
In business, right? And art wasn't necessarily about that, unless you get into, high-end art where everyone's buying and selling stuff.
Indeed.
Then it really is about that. Ultimately, it becomes, when you're a valued artist and you're popular, then your stuff sells for a lot more, and maybe it still takes you the same amount of time as it took you to create the other pieces of art. It's just now it sells for more.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the economics work the same way. I just feel like you're saying, the art community may be a little more receptive to sustainability because they already have kind of that mindset of seeing the whole world.
Yeah, in the last 30 years, since we've really kind of gotten into recycling and all this stuff. So everyone who's from my generation, 40 plus, that's when it kind of started. So now everyone growing up afterwards already has this, that's all they know is that we already recycle. They don't remember the days when we used to just throw stuff out on the street and, pour oil down the gutter and just do all kinds of stuff that you would never think of doing today, You'd be like, oh, that's terrible, but because we were uneducated about it, we just did it,
Right.
So the awareness is there and growing. It's just there aren't set practices in place and a lot of people are looking for because they need a set of rules. Otherwise, there's no grounding, there's nowhere to start from.
Right. Yeah.
You get your set of rules and then you feel free to break them once you master them,
Definitely.
So if you maybe you learn painting with gouache, and then when you truly have mastered it, then you go ahead and switch to oil, knowing that you're not going to waste so much in
Right.
your, mastering that again.
Sure.
So stuff like that. So
Yeah, I think one of the things for me is seeing places and things like the art world, which I grew up with a little bit as a kid, and now seeing that embrace sustainability is really exciting. As part of your project and as far as what you're doing, I wonder, what impact do you want to have? I mean, what's your real mission with Sustainable Arts?
the mission for my show, originally it was just a sampler to see where we were in sustainability, and that being defined by what the artists were using at the time. And there was, like in the first show, definitely a thought and a degree of sustainability in each artist's work. But this second one, this is now the second show I've produced on this topic, and this one is more concerned with how I'm operating the show and how, as a gallery owner or promoter, that these would be the new practices for promoting art, is to use a more, more energy efficient lighting, recycled materials, water bottle free events, that kind of stuff that kind of go hand in hand. There's doing it in musical promotion now, they kind of, all those big kind of events are going that way too, where they want to have a less environmental impact and still provide that same excitement and entertainment that being in a big crowded show provides.
Sure, I think it's definitely exciting to see it happening. So for everyone who's out there, what are some of the ways that you think they can be involved in creating sustainable art?
That's a good question. Like I said earlier, it's up to each individual artist to decide.
No, if you're going to be the dictator, you have to tell people how they can be more sustainable. How would you do that?
Okay, well, everyone will have to ride their bike.
Awesome.
So logistically, just coming and going from where you get to your art making and stuff like that.
Sure.
If you were to use public transportation and bike riding instead of driving your car, trying to find that parking spot. Like today I was able to bring several paintings and stuff on my bike. It was, obviously there's some constraints. You're not going to be bringing your giant bronze in, on your bicycle or anything like that. But maybe when each day you go, you ride your bike to school. So that adds up. Think of all the thousands of people commuting. It's just simple as that.
Yeah. So you're going to have a bike valet at your gallery?
Actually, the gallery is a little too small for that, but there is a group in Long Beach that does that. So if we did, my goal ultimate would be to have 100 artist fine art fair, and I would love to have a bike valet for that event.
Nice.
Definitely.
Very cool. So just so everyone has it, what's your URL for your project?
The website is Sustainable Art LA, and we're having a show coming in June, and we'll be having more shows after the lawnmower guy leaves. See, you should have a push mower. That's what I'm talking about. But
All right, nice hat. He had a great farmer's hat, like a straw hat on.
But yeah, that's ours is at the Culver City annual art walk so it's June 5th.
Great. All right. I look forward to seeing more about you guys and showing up more, and then we'll probably have a radio show where we focus on art, and so I'd be glad to bring you back and chat with you about that.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for having me. It was
right.
a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Nice.